Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Recap, a guy's review. All right, the Chris Harrison interview on Good Morning America just dropped. Woke up extra early on West Coast time to see this thing. It felt like my Christmas. Not in the sense that I was excited for Chris to redeem himself. I just knew this would be one big bundle of pre-produced just nonsense. This was the most pre-produced, packaged, 5-minute interview. When will they learn the way to do these things are just genuine conversations straight to camera? I mean, this is garbage. In what world do we have a former linebacker from the NFL interviewing a host? I mean, and in no offense to Mike Strahan, but with the demons in his closet, the fact that we're even having this conversation so highly produced, it's not like I can even judge whether or not Chris Harrison is sincere here. Because I'm not against Chris Harrison in the traditional sense. Like, I'm like, cancel Chris Harrison. I want the man to speak in a way that will give him the best chance to get his point across. But instead, they keep it in the company. They keep it in ABC. They do this interview. I mean, just watch how many edits. We live in a world now where people will watch a 5-hour podcast. If it's interesting, someone will watch 5 hours. I mean, people have watched me talk about Dale's toes for 25 minutes, okay? So this idea that people have short attention spans is just wrong. Yet for some reason, the business model for old school media is you just throw clip, clip, clip. I want the camera to stay on Chris Harrison's face for 5.5 minutes while he talks. Why can't we have that? Watch the interview. Watch how Michael Strahan, I mean, he did what he had to do, but anyway, it's just garbage. The whole thing's garbage. It's a start, but it's not what I wanted. It's just not a good portrayal. It's like if you were to watch, let's make a baseball analogy. It's like if you were to watch like a starting pitcher come in relief and not do well. It's like the guy's a starter. He's supposed to start. You put him in a position he doesn't play and he didn't come off right. Now, would Chris Harrison have come off better? I don't have the luxury of knowing that. But instead, here's this prepackaged garbage. You guys can enjoy it.
First interview since stepping away from his signature franchise, Michael.
Yes, George, and in the wake of the racism controversy that plagued the first season of the show featuring a black bachelor, I sat down with the longtime host to find out what was behind his contentious remarks.
Play the whole interview.
It was a mistake. I made a mistake.
This morning, embattled Bachelor host Chris Harrison sitting down with GMA exclusively in his first interview since stepping aside from the franchise.
So play the whole interview.
The journey begins
Why don't
again.
you just play the whole interview?
After facing backlash for defending frontrunner Rachel Kirkconnell, whose past racist social media posts show her liking a photo containing a Confederate flag and attending an Old South Plantation-themed party in 2018. She has since apologized for those actions.
She did it right.
Thank you
She did it right.
Holding me accountable.
What are the odds?
I'm so sorry.
Harrison made this case to Rachel Lindsay, the show's first black bachelorette.
It's not a good look.
No, it's not a good. Well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021?
It's
because
not
there's
a
a big
good
difference.
look ever because she's celebrating the Old South. If I went to that party, what would I represent at that party?
I think the biggest surprise for a lot of people is that this season was supposed to be a turning point for the show. We had the first black bachelor in the franchise's history after 2 decades of being on the air.
White guy
it was
face.
a move that had already been criticized as too little, too late by quite a few people, but now it's being overshadowed by this controversy over racism, but not just by a contestant on the show, but also by its own host. And you are the face of the show. So a lot of people, and I'm wondering, why would you defend Rachel Kirkconnell?
I am an imperfect man. I made a mistake, and I own that. I believe that mistake doesn't reflect who I am or what I stand for. I am committed to the progress, not just for myself, also for the franchise.
My guess, these girls got dressed up and went to a party and had a great time. They were 18 years old.
Whoops.
Now, does that make it okay? I don't know, Rachel. You tell me.
You said, quote, is it not a good look in 2018? Or is it not a good look in 2021? Because there's a big difference. So what is to you, what is the difference? Or is there one?
There is not. Antebellum parties are not okay.
See, looking
past, present, future. Knowing what that represents is unacceptable.
In that interview with Lindsay, Harrison also using a term he now says is unacceptable.
I am not the woke police. There's plenty of people plenty of people who will do that for us in this world right now.
Lindsay later discussing that controversial interview on her podcast.
During that conversation, he talked over me and at me. During that conversation, his privilege was on display. He never gave me room to talk, and he never gave me room to share my perspective. He wasn't trying to hear it. He was just trying to be heard.
I am saddened and shocked at how insensitive I was in that interview with Rachel Lindsay. And I didn't speak from my heart, and that is to say I stand against all forms of racism, and I am deeply sorry. I'm sorry to Rachel Lindsay, and I'm sorry to the black community.
Since your conversation with Rachel Lindsay, she's been a target online of intense harassment and bullying, so much so that she's had to deactivate her Instagram account. Have you had a chance to talk to her? And if so, what was that conversation?
I talked to Rachel, not since she deactivated her Instagram account, but I talked to Rachel initially and I apologized. And I want to do so again. I am incredibly sorry. To anyone who is throwing hate towards Rachel Lindsay, please stop. It is unacceptable.
Do you think the reaction that you received has been fair?
I am not a victim here. I made a mistake, and I own that. Racism, oppression, these are big dynamic problems, and they take serious work, and I am committed to that work.
Harrison says he's been working closely with a, quote, race educator and strategist.
Then let him say it.
Along with faith leaders and scholars
Why
like
is he
Dr.
saying
Michael
what Harrison
Dyson.
said?
But Dr. Dyson often talks to me about counsel, not cancel. And that is full accountability, understanding what you didn't understand, owning that, learning from that, seeking counsel often in the community that you hurt, learning from them, listening, gaining experience, knowledge, and moving forward.
So you are the right person to lead this franchise into the future, you feel?
I plan to be back, and I want to be back. This interview is not the finish line. There is much more work to be done, and I am excited to be a part of that change.
A lot more work to be done, Chris. I cannot agree with you more on that. And you guys know his apology is his apology, but it felt like it got nothing more than a surface response on any of this. And obviously, he's the man who wants to clearly stay on the show, but only time will tell if there is any meaning behind his words.
Wow. I was surprised. I was surprised that Michael Strahan strayed from the interview here with Chris Harrison and gave his actual own opinion. Just because I figured it would be even more cookie cutter than it actually was. But here's what's ridiculous. You heard the part where Michael Strahan says, Chris Harrison says he's working with so-and-so. Let the man, and I'm not blaming Michael Strahan for this. This is how they edit the things. But I want to hear Chris Harrison say that. I want to hear Chris Harrison talking with Dr. Dyson. Because it's one thing when Chris Harrison says, Dr. Dyson says don't cancel. He says counsel. That's cool. But I want to hear Dr. Dyson say that. I want to hear someone talk to you about that. I don't want to hear Michael Strahan regurgitate it. And look, I can't get into, I did this in yesterday's video. I can't get into the literally bloody gossip or I should say accusations against Michael Strahan from his former partner. He's been in court for the last 16 years being accused of horrendous things. So for him to say that he kind of doesn't think Chris Harrison's apologies sincere, I understand him having his point of view, but also who are you, Michael Strahan? Who are you to be giving this interview? These interviews need to be given by the 6 p.m. news guy, the person that's on the straight and narrow. I mean, is anyone on the straight and narrow anymore? And again, Michael Strahan's got his fans. Who knows? Maybe the whole thing wasn't true. I don't know. When things are settled out of court, you just never know what the hell happened. A lot of money is always involved. It's ugly. So yeah, when Chris Harrison says, I'm not a victim here, it's the right response. Here's the deal with Chris Harrison. He's so media trained, which of course makes it insane that his interview with Rachel Lindsay blew up the way it did, because he's so media trained that he does come off a little bit flat and insincere. But what do you want from the guy? If he cries, you're going to call it performative. So I think he just wanted to be as kind of emotionless as possible And that's kind of who Chris Harrison is. That's the vanilla ice cream that everyone craves. You want some funky monkey thing, you're not going to get that with Chris Harrison. He's white bread with peanut butter and jelly, and that's the reason he's worked for so long, because he kind of just blends in, on the show. He kind of just shows up from behind the, satin curtains during the final rose ceremony out of nowhere. That's Chris Harrison. He comes and he goes. That's what you get. Very interesting. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment, or call my voicemail line right here if you have a strong opinion about the matter, whether you think he should be canceled or counseled. Tell me how you think this interview went, what steps he needs to do to make forward. Do you think he will be, what steps he needs to do going forward? Do you think that he will be on the next season of The Bachelorette, which starts filming in a few weeks? Please let me know what you guys think. I will be playing your voicemails today at 2:30 p.m. I'll make a video for you guys at 2:30 p.m. playing all those voicemails. And then at 4 p.m. we have a West Coast live stream. 4 p.m. Pacific time will be my live stream tonight. I'm sure it'll be I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there voicing their opinions. Love to know what you think. So my overall grade for this interview is a C+. Like, it's passing. It's a passing interview. It doesn't do any more harm than it does good. It is certainly not the extra TV interview, but it is no hour-long conversation with Emmanuel Acho or somebody willing to kind of help him move forward. We didn't get to see, even Rachel Kirkconnell did a better job, because she actually showed in her 7.5-minute interview, she actually showed, I'm sorry, not her interview, her talk straight to camera. She showed how more of how she feels in the moment and what work she's doing. Chris Harrison just said he's been talking to faith leaders and Dr. Dyson, which is great and all, but like, if you say that there's more to come and there's more actions, tell the people so they can follow your journey. You have a huge fan base of people that don't think you should be canceled. So tell them exactly what you're doing to move forward. Tell them exactly why all of it was wrong. And you just aren't going to get that with a 5-minute interview. Very unimpressed. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. I'm going to be talking about this more. We'll probably be talking about this all day, to be honest. So much to talk about here. And if you haven't checked out my other videos, I got the Woman Tell All recap up. The Reality Steve announced who the next Bachelorette is supposed to be, which means they're going to start filming this in like 2 weeks, guys. A lot going on. Anyway, folks, leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think.